Okay, so I'm gonna cover foam rolling for tight hips, covering a lot of the major spots. Some of it's gonna be carryover from the previous video. So if you haven't looked at that yet, take a look at that. All right, so getting into it. Hip flexors being a big part of what makes your hips tight. So we're actually going to attack the hip flexors one at a time. When we roll, we're gonna essentially go right where the belt line is, but we don't wanna roll over bone. We wanna roll over the fleshy patch right in between your bone and the top of your quad muscle. So when I get down on this roller, I'm gonna lie down just like this. I'm gonna bring this other leg up like I'm Spider-Man climbing up a wall. And I'm gonna sort of angle out a little bit with my belly button. So that way I'm kind of more on the outer corner of my thigh and in that hip bone area. So first off, what we want to do is we want to try and open up that area as much as possible. So we're going to do some rocking motions. And if it's really, really tight and really, really bad, this is where I would work on my breathing. Tighten my abs to engage this. And then from there with that back leg, if you can see it, I'm start trying to curl my heel toward my butt. And then straighten it back out. All right, fully straighten that leg, curl it all the way in, and repeat. All right, do it for about 10 times on one side. And then from there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna segue down to rolling the quad itself. So we're gonna roll that outer corner, looking for any bad spots. And I just found a pretty tight spot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get used to it, but I'm gonna start breathing. After a couple of seconds and it starts to relax, I'm gonna tighten those abs, I'm gonna squeeze my glutes, and then I'm gonna curl that heel in and repeat that pin and stretch technique to try and release the quad muscles a little bit, okay? From there, we'll work a little bit further down. We're not gonna roll over the kneecap, but we're gonna get to just above the kneecap. Right there. And if it's really bad for you, you may have to spend some extra time doing it. But work your way all the way there. Good, all right. From there, you'd hit side B. So same thing, position it right here. Lie down right on top. Bring the other leg up and start to work in that area a little bit, that hip flexor. Make sure you're breathing as you go. All right, so it's a little tighter on this side for me. So once again, I'm gonna make sure I'm breathing. I'm gonna tighten those abs, and then I'm gonna start curling this back heel toward my butt, and then fully extending that leg. So I don't know if you can see this, but curl the heel all the way up, squeezing the abs, full extension. After about maybe 30 seconds or 10 of those extensions, we're gonna start working our way up the thigh, corner of the thigh again. Go nice and slow. If you move too fast, you're actually exciting the muscle and you're keeping it awake. And we want it to go slow so that way it'll turn off. So work your way. Found another knot here. So what I'm gonna do is breathe, tighten those abs, squeeze the butt, curl the heel, extend. Now when I do that extension, I wanna push that leg totally straight and extend through that heel. Good. And now working our way all the way up. Good, same thing. All right, so that is the hip flexor and the quad area. The next one is gonna be your inner thigh. So the inner thigh is a big low back puller when it gets really, really tight, and it'll also restrain and pull your knees to the inside when you go to squat. So we wanna make sure we loosen that up a little bit before our movements. So you're gonna lie down next to the foam roller, having it the long way next to you. You're gonna bring your knee up as high as you can get it, and then what I like to do is sink the rest of my body back. So I've just gone even deeper. So if you look at it from the side, bring that knee up as high as I can, but then I go even deeper by pushing myself back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start working my way in, looking for any sort of tight spots that I may have. Found one here, so once again, follow the same steps. Tighten those abs, make sure you're breathing. And then from there, what I'm gonna do with this leg, I'm gonna scoot away a little bit. Once I find that bad spot and I tighten here, I'm gonna extend that leg all the way out straight, and then I'm gonna bend at the knee. I'm gonna repeat that pin and stretch technique. So that way we can elongate that muscle, return it to its original length. Breathe, breathe, breathe as you go. You hold your breath, you're gonna tense up, and you're fighting the process from which we're doing, okay? So keep working your way in as close to the groin as you can get. You know, obviously you don't wanna roll over certain parts in there, but make sure you're keeping it nice and safe and you're getting all those tight spots out. All right, from there, flip over, same thing to the other side. Get into that position knee high, we sink the hips back, and then start working your way in. And you want to pay attention if one side's a lot tighter than the other. That can cause you to start moving improperly, shifting away from certain tight spots, which could lead to an injury in the future if you're lifting heavy weights. So try to loosen it up as much as you can. All right, right here I found a tight spot. I'll extend that leg straight out, bend that leg, make sure I'm breathing, tightening those abs. Good. And then just keep working your way in until you can't get in any further. Awesome. All right, next one, it's gonna be your glutes. Glutes are a big muscle group, so we wanna make sure we loosen them up. They get tighter if you've been sitting for long periods of time, and then it makes it harder to stand up, which can hurt your back in the long run. So we're gonna take our right hand, put it behind our back, take our right leg, cross it over the left. And what we're gonna do is start in an upright position. This is gonna attack your larger glute muscle. And then once we've done a couple of rolls here, we'll tilt into the side. All right, and that's gonna attack the smaller glute muscle there. Now, if you start to feel like a really big pocket of tension, freeze on top of it, make sure you're breathing, like I just found one, very tight. And then from there, what I'm gonna do is after I've kind of adjusted a little bit with my breathing, I'm gonna start swiveling from side to side. And this is kind of gonna go across the fibers, almost like a scar tissue type of deal, where we're trying to break that up to restore some range of motion, okay? Just searching for those tight spots, maybe about a minute per side. If it's really bad, you can spend some extra time there. Just make sure you're breathing while you do it. All right, switching to the other side. Take the left hand, put it behind your back. Take your left leg, cross it over your right. We're gonna roll in the upright position first. Doesn't seem to be too bad here. Tilt into the side. This is a little bit tighter compared to before. So the same thing, I'm slowing it down to try and find knots. Found one right here, I'm gonna breathe. Breathing gets oxygen in there, so that way the muscle can start to relax a little bit more. And then from there, I'm gonna start swiveling right against the fibers there to try and break it up even faster. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Awesome. The last one is gonna be your hamstrings. This one, we wanna make sure we're in as upright a position as possible. The slightest degree of this being off will take a lot of tension away from those hamstrings. So big important things are keeping your chest as high up as you can, so think your sternum toward the ceiling. Nice proud chest. And we wanna be as upright, as close to an L shape with our body as possible, a right angle. So keep that chest up, toes flexed towards you, and we're just gonna slowly roll. Now you can always add more pressure by stacking one leg on top of the other at the ankle. And if you find a tight spot, like I just found a tight spot, we can do a couple of things. We can start first at the ankle, pumping here to get blood flowing in. And then from there, swivel from side to side. We want to loosen these up. A lot of this stuff is going to be low back pullers too. I know hip stuff tends to travel to the low back, so we want to make sure we loosen both sides. So since I hit one side, I might as well hit the other. So I'm going to go over here. Down to that spot, up the gas pedal, make sure you're breathing, and then from there swivel side to side. All right, so that's foam rolling for your hips.